Hello and welcome to Film Slam Stream's post-film conversation for Willie's Wings. My name is Eric Siler, and I'm an instructor of film, media arts, and communications, as well as moderator for this conversation. We're very pleased to be joined by the co-directors of Willie's Wings. We have with us Reina Daniels and Alberto Vignati. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. They're joining us from Italy right now. Hello to the both of you and welcome.
Hi, thank
Hi.
you for having us.
It's so good to have you share this film with us too. We'll get into why you're in Italy in a little bit, but this film, Willie's Wings, um, for the audience, Alberto and Reina are brother and sister-in-law, and they collaborated in making this film. So who came? I know Reina, you grew up knowing about your Uncle Willie. And Alberto, how did you convince Reina to make a film, or did she convince you? Who started what first? Tell us that.
Well, what happened is that almost, I think, in 2015, I moved to LA to study at USC in the screenwriting program, and Rain and I were living together because I was renting a room.
Yeah.
I mean, we were sharing the same house, and she actually has a degree in editing from St. Augustine University in North Carolina.
Yes.
So she's always been interested in movies as well. So it was kind of like a common passion. And the more, as you, I mean, I'm married now with Reina's sister. But, you know, in family gatherings, there's always been, you know, Uncle Willie was kind of like a figure that would come and he was respected. But it's, you know, I didn't know his story. I didn't know that he was flying pigeons. And then she told me about it. And, you know, maybe, and maybe she'll tell that later, but when you grow up with someone, you don't necessarily see how special it is, the story.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's when I went to Reina, I said, I mean, Uncle Willie has an amazing story, and I feel that we should tell that story in a short documentary.
Interesting. So when Alberto told you this, were you on board, or did you need more convincing, Reina?
I believe I was pretty on board immediately. The one that we had to do convincing to was Uncle Willie.
Yeah.
Uncle Willie is, I mean, when we meet him, he's got a bright spirit. He, you know, he brings joy to people when they come around, but he's also pretty private, and he doesn't really like a lot of attention on him, because for him, what he does and how he lives his life is just normal. And that's why I wasn't able really to see the story the way it was until Alberto came into the picture, because for me as well, the way that Uncle Willie lives his life is just normal. I don't see Uncle Willie with one arm missing, or, you know, when he builds things that it's really that difficult, because I've just known him to do it all my life. So it wasn't hard for me to come on board to tell the story, because the more that we spoke about it, the more that I actually realized, like, yes, Uncle Willie has a special story that needs to be told. I feel, we both feel.
So what is this special story? Because you could have approached this from many different angles. You could have just taken it from the pigeon aspect. You could have just taken it just from, you know, him losing his arm and how he, you know, dealt with challenges. How did you decide what the story actually was?
I believe that we wanted to touch on all of those factors of Uncle Willie, about how not only does he fly the pigeons, but how he dominates in the sport as well. It's a sport where they have competitions and they go to different cities and sometimes different states to compete. And the way that Uncle Willie was able to raise his pigeons and train his pigeons, he dominated in the sport and is still the first Black African American Heisman Trophy of the sport. So we really wanted to touch on that as well, and then we also wanted to really show his story about how he expresses, even though he lost his arm in his early 20s, how he decided to move on with his life, opposed to being in a depressed state or not thriving in his life with his family, with his pigeons. We didn't touch on much, but Uncle Willie also is a very big impact in his community. He coached Pee Wee football for over 20 years. And so those are things about Uncle Willie that we really wanted to get out there and tell his story about. So, yeah.
Okay, so in that you did that really well. So let's talk a little bit about the production process. Uh, how long did it take? How many days did you spend with Willie and interviewing him, getting all the footage and so forth? Just give us a brief overview of the whole process.
Yeah, I think it was about when we shot the first chunk of the principal photography lasted for, I'd say, 6 days. For the first part, we shot everything
3 weekends. We did it
3
in
weekends, yes. So it was about six days, and then then the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And basically what happened is that we will come back and we would add parts to the documentary, because also Uncle Willie was winning many trophies, and the situation was always evolving. So I'd say that all in all, probably we had 10, 15, 20 days of shooting with following him. I mean, consider that we shot a lot of material that it didn't make the cut in the final version. So we followed him like in his daily routine, and also for the contest that he was doing, and also we came back for that, and then we did like 2 days, 3 days only him talking to the camera, because we wanted to get all his story right, and we have had him repeat maybe some parts, because he would get emotional at times.
I see. I mean, I was getting emotional too, just listening to him. He has such a personality, and I think that came across quite well. And just trying to pull up this quote here that he said. I think you know what quote I'm going to pull up. It says, "You're not a man because you just have 2 legs. You're a man because of your personality and who you are, and what you make of your life. That makes you who you are." And I heard him say that. I said, they scripted this, and as I watched more and more, they did it. This is Uncle Willie, and I just want to get to know him more and more. So there's just so much life that he has. Tell us about some things that you couldn't actually fit into the documentary. I'm sure there's lots of things on the cutting room floor.
Childhood.
Yeah, we didn't really get to touch much on his childhood with in the documentary. We also we wanted to do some footage of at the competitions with him, but like my brother-in-law said, we started shooting in 2019. We only were able to go to one competition, and then they had a bird issue within the competitions, and then COVID happened. So that was something that we really wish we could have touched on more as well. And I think also, I think it would have been important, and is important, if we were able to touch on his accident a little bit more, because that is exactly that quote that you stated before. I believe Willie began to feel those emotions after his accident. It changed him completely. It changed to the man that he was before and to the man that he is now. So that was something as well that we would have liked to touch on more as well.
But what one thing people can get from this documentary is that you didn't have to say it, but we just know it, that his accident gave him like a new purpose in life, a new drive. And if he didn't have the accident, I don't think he would be the pigeon champion that he is. I mean, do you agree with that?
100%. Yeah, I do agree with that, because I think once the accident happened, he really had to sit down and focus on something to keep him busy and active and to bring joy to him. So yeah, I believe that the accident changed his life completely.
Maybe one of the parts that we didn't necessarily put to answer the question that you were asking before, it was also about all the aftermath. And because he didn't only have a problem with his arm, but also with an accident like that, he had the other problems.
It was his spine, his spleen, his kidney, Those are just some of the things, to name a few, that he's still in this day and age still having some issues with as well.
But then I mean, he detailed also about like his psychological state after that, and so we kind of hinted it because we didn't want to spend too much time, just to focus on the way he was able to reverse completely the situation and almost make it everything in his favor, because this guy is amazing. He builds everything by itself. For another part that didn't make the cut is when he explains how he builds the cage. And all the tools that he used with just one arm. And yeah, but you know, you have only 12 minutes and it has to be short.
Right, but you showed that in a way. There was a series of shots in which you were showing him how he was building the cage with one arm. And, you know, I mean, as a viewer, I was just watching and says, wow, he can do all that. He can do more with one arm than I can with two arms in terms of building that. It was fascinating. So you did a great job of capturing that. And then the story shifted to the whole pigeon competition. You establish that out of the way. It says, look, this is the person, this is his ability. Now let's look at this next ability that he has as well too. So that was well crafted and well framed. You purposely did that, I guess, just to establish that and move on, or it just kind of happened?
No.
Purposely, absolutely, yeah.
We had to you know, we didn't rewrite anything. Nothing was scripted, but we had to rearrange the parts to add it more like as if it in a story.
Yes, to tell the story exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and to part of a story, I mean, I'm telling our viewers, I spoke ahead of time with our co-directors, and one story I asked you to share with our viewers is Uncle Willie's reaction when he saw the birds spinning. Can you retell that story that you told me?
Yeah, so like we were speaking about earlier today, before the interview, when we showed the final cut to Uncle Willie, he got emotional because it was really the first. He has been flying his pigeons for over 20 years, but he's always been able to see them from ground all the way up, not in the close-up scene that we were able to create for him. So for him to be able to see the birds close up and do the spinning that they do in the air, and we put it into slow motion, he really got emotional about it. He really got so emotional to actually be able to see that close up the hard work that he has been putting into his pigeons for years and years.
I can imagine. And speaking of Uncle Willie, can you give us an update? How is he doing today? Is he still winning competitions?
I spoke to Willie about 3 weeks ago before I came to Rome, and he's doing well. He was actually telling me that they were having a award ceremony, I believe so, for the pigeons and other people that have been flying for a while. Now that COVID is over and the birds' illness has gone away, they're doing more competitions. So that's also something that we would like to continue on with our next project with Uncle Willie, is, you know, having more scenes with him doing the competitions, doing the judging, because he also does judging for the competitions as well. So, but overall, Uncle Willie's doing great. He's excited about the project. He's wanting to know what's next with the project, when he'll be able to show his friends and other family members the film. And so, but yeah, he's doing wonderful. He's doing great.
Oh, great. I'm glad you mentioned that you would like to expand this film too, because I mean, there've been other documentaries made about pigeons and competition and so forth, but not like Uncle Willie, and it'd be good to have it from his vantage point. So I look forward to seeing that. So tell me more about some of the this film has been seen at other festivals and screened elsewhere. Tell us about some of the responses and reactions that you've had with this film, especially when Uncle Willie was with you.
Well, the film was. All the other festivals we accepted. That's the festival.
Yeah, that one.
No, I mean the festival was accepted also at Newport Beach Film Festival, which just happened, and we just received the news that we were also accepted to Doc NYC in New York, and we're pretty excited for that, because as is Cleveland, Doc NYC is also another Oscar qualifying festival. So we're gonna go. We're gonna be in New York for that festival, and Uncle Willie is gonna be with us. So that's another opportunity for him to be in the room where, you know, the short is screened.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And at the screenings in which he's been at, I'm sure he was kind of like a rock star. People just wanted to meet him and get a picture with them. Tell us a little bit about that interaction and that atmosphere.
Like I stated before, Uncle Willie is kind of a private person. He doesn't really like the attention. But since we've been working on the film and he's been going to the festivals with us, I think that he enjoys it a little bit. He'll never admit to it, but I think he's enjoying it as well. And but Uncle Willie is a personable person anyway. So whenever he's anywhere in his life, he's going to have conversations with people. So he's really been enjoying the questions, and he's been enjoying also the attention that the sport is beginning to get as well, and how people are really more interested in the the pigeon flying and the bird competitions. And so yeah, overall, he's loving every bit of it.
I mean, in Cleveland, after the section, there was like a little line of people that was going and to, you know, to ask questions. How do you raise them? How do you have them rolling like that? It was very, I mean, it was
it's amazing to be able to see him in this light as well. You know, like, he deserves this attention that he's getting, and I'm just so happy and proud that his story is out there and he's feeling happy and blessed about it. That's really what he always just says. It's just how blessed he is and how happy he is in his life, and I love that for him.
Well, what's the main thing you want people to take away from this film?
The main thing that we would want people to take away from the film is how big the bird flying industry is, one, and also the story of Willie and how things might come into your life that might try to bring you down, but you always have to push through and keep God first. He's a big Christian. He believes that. And also just don't give up. Just keep having hope and just keep striving for best. And don't let anything hold you back, whether it's a loss of a limb, a loss of a family member, or anything. You have to keep pushing through in life. And I believe that's what he would want us to say.
I totally agree with that. And, you know, one real quick thing is that the part when you showed about the falcon, how the falcon was interfering with the birds, and it's like, you know, Uncle Willie overcame that because it says, I dealt with the loss of a limb, and I can overcome something like a falcon trying to interfere. So that's like a nice subtle way of pushing across this message as well too.
Yeah, that was, you know, there was a huge debate because we didn't know if it was clear enough, because the falcon was, of course, the evil that sometimes comes into your life. So we were really like, well, we're gonna just throw it out there. But I'm glad that you picked up on that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Reina, Alberto, this has been a pleasure. I know, Reina, you're in Italy visiting your sister who's married to your co-director. So I wish you safe travels and an enjoyable time. And you got a lot more work to do. I look forward to hopefully seeing more of the work from the both of you real soon.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the time that you've taken with us. And thank you for allowing us to tell Uncle Willie's story. And then I also want to say that my sister also helped us on the project as well, his wife. So we want to give her credit, as well as Raven Swain as a producer on the film as well. So.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you all again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And thank you to our audience for joining us for this important and invigorating conversation. For more information about our upcoming film festival, please visit us at clevelandfilm.org. I'm Eric Siler. Thank you.